The following video is for installations labeled without foam. The designer greens labeled without foam are meant for the typical backyard installation, where the existing landscaping is brought right up to the edge of the panels to create that built-in appearance. This version can also be used for other installations if the turf is folded over the edge of the panels and fastened, creating a 90-degree turf edge. The turf will arrive in several rolls. One will be the putting green turf, the other will be the fringe turf. The tabs are cut free from the putting green turf and the putting green is unrolled. Minimal scrap is left behind. The fringe turf is now unrolled. The fringe sections are separated and sorted. We recommend labeling the back of the fringe with the proper part number as shown in the drawing. A silver paint pen from any office supply works great. The computer makes easy work of cutting the fringe, as you can see by the images of the individual pieces. The turf and the fringe are laid in the sun to allow them to become very flat. The pre-cut edge panels all arrive in boxes. All the panels are labeled and ready to assemble. The edge sections are separated from the scrap. The scrap is labeled to avoid any confusion. Here's a sample panel layout for the 18 by 23 green. Note the 4 panels with the holes are not indicated, as this is the decision to be made by the customer and the dealer. The edge panels are laid in their approximate positions around the perimeter. The center panels are placed in their approximate positions. The assembly begins. Here we are halfway done. The last pieces are assembled using the proper panel installation method. The panels are unpacked and assembled in less than a half an hour. After all the panels have been assembled, it is important to eliminate the gaps between the panels. This can be easily achieved by having a helper stand on one side of the installation and you on the other, kicking the panels together around the entire perimeter. The goal is to eliminate the gaps between the panels. This method of installation of the panels is a bit different than what we have done in the past with Tormex, but we have found by using the rubberized action back and the size of the greens, it works very well having all the panels pushed together in an effort to eliminate wrinkling in the future. What is important, however, is that the turf and the panels be installed at the same temperature. For example, if it is sunny and hot outside and the panels are hot to the touch, then the turf must be installed at the same temperature if you're fastening the turf to the panels permanently with staples or screws, etc. If the panels are cool to the touch, it's important that the turf be cool to the touch. You cannot put hot turf on the cool panels or cool turf on the hot panels if you're doing a permanent installation. If you're just loose laying the turf onto the panels for an exhibit or a show or a temporary installation, then this is not a big issue, only when you are permanently affixing the turf to the panels. The cups are put into position and secured temporarily with tape so they do not move during turf installation. The holes will be cut later and the tape removed. For indoor installations, the hole cutting guide will make easy work of cutting the holes so the cups can be installed later. The relaxed turf is pulled onto the panels and positioned. In this case, 20 inches of panels are left exposed around the entire perimeter. This is the proper position for the turf. The fringe sections are now fitted into the proper sequence. The drawing shows the sequence in which the fringe and the putting turf needs to be placed. The version without foam leaves 3 inches of fringe hanging over the edge of the panels. This is so that it can be wrapped over and buried. If for some reason the dealer wants to have the turf come over the panels and terminate at the floor with a sharp edge, he'll have to cut off that extra 1 inch worth of fringe. The turf is kicked and stapled as usual. Do not overkick and move the turf out of position. You are just trying to remove wrinkles and tighten the turf. This is always best done when the turf is hot. Staple the putting turf onto the panels. For an indoor or temporary installation, double-sided tape works well. Now position and staple the fringe. Dry fit all of your fringe seams. Staple the fringe seams. Roll the seams with a seam roller to achieve a good blend of the fibers. Here we show double-sided tar tape being used for an indoor or temporary installation. The leftover turf is pulled over the edge of the panels and stapled to the outermost edge of the panels and to the side. Here is a finished green where the holes have been cut and the landscaping has been done to achieve that built-in look.